The woman was overlooking the Earth from the space station when she suddenly noticed two fireballs coming out of the Earth. She thought it was a volcanic eruption and immediately called the other astronauts to gather around, but to her surprise, more fireballs kept coming out of the ground. In order to avoid the seemingly volcanic eruption affecting the station, the crowd rushed out of the dome to prepare for the possible impact. After all the defenses were ready, everyone with palpitations immediately contacted the control center on Earth to ask what was happening on the ground, but all communications were interrupted. This was obviously abnormal. No one could interfere with all communications at the same time unless the explosion on the ground was really a nuclear war. At once everyone got nervous if that was the case, and the space station astronauts, who had just been as close as brothers, were probably now from hostile nations. Chris was the first to restore communication. The ground command center told him through text that the United States and Russia had a nuclear war, and now the International Space Station had become the main point of contention between the two sides, and ordered Chris to take control of the space station at any cost. Chris immediately got nervous, but he played it cool and lied to his co-workers that he hadn't received any information. At that moment the station suddenly lost power, but the backup power soon kicked in. Though communications were completely cut off when there were only 3 Americans left in the operation room, Chris conveyed the order to the other 2. John thought the Russian cosmonauts must have received the same order. Why don't we start first? Chris and the woman, of course, understood this reasoning, but they couldn't bear it and wanted to wait for the resumption of communication to confirm with the command center again. However, after the astronauts had been busy for half a day, communication still didn't come back. The atmosphere of the space station was obviously a little weird, and people no longer trusted each other. At this time, teammates suggested that the antenna might be broken and needed to be repaired outside the capsule. Chris was an expert in this field, so he put on his suit and prepared to go out to repair the antenna on his own. When he got out of the capsule and looked toward Earth, the North American continent was already red, and almost all of the cities were destroyed. Chris could not have imagined that this day would really come.